Hey, my name is Dan. I used to work at the biggest dealership in the country. Now I teach fine folks like you how not to get fucked when buying a car. And in this video, I want to talk to you guys about all the features and especially safety features that car manufacturers are refusing to put in the cars as standard. They're refusing to give us standard safety features that are very inexpensive to do, very easy to implement. But most importantly, they will save thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of lives and billions of dollars. And then I'll tell you why they're not putting them in as standard feature. All right, number one, forward collision warning. So when you're about to hit a car, there's going to be a warning in your car, hey, hit the brakes, hit the brakes, hit the brakes. And if you don't hit the brakes, then an automatic emergency braking is going to kick in. It's going to prevent you from having a crash. Next one, pedestrian detection. If somebody jumps out in front of you, like somebody on a skateboard, a bike, a kid, or somebody jumps in front of your car, the car will detect them and stop them. Is a couple of $100 worth saving that person's life? I think it is. But car manufacturers think they don't. That's why it's not a standard feature on every single car, even though it's very affordable to put into the car. Very affordable. It's very, very, very cheap. Next one, adaptive cruise control. So what this does, and by the way, half of this shit existed years ago. 30, 40, 50 years ago, you could have put this into your car. You could have, but car manufacturers refused to put these features in. I'll give you some examples later on. So adaptive cruise control, it follows another car, it measures the distance, and if that car slows down, your car will slow down. If that car speeds up, then you just keep going and ignore whatever that car is doing. That's it. You can set your cruise control to, for example, 70 miles an hour. Somebody pulls out in front of you at 60 miles an hour. Your car will slow down to 60. You don't gotta mess with it. That car leaves, you're going back to 70 miles an hour. Simple as that. Here's another example of what it can do. You're going 70 miles an hour, but then there's a road construction zone, right? You hit the brakes or somebody pulls in front of you, you hit the brakes, then you let go of the brakes and the car goes back to 70 miles an hour. Your cruise control, that what it's supposed to be. Kind of cool. Again, very easy to implement on a car. Car manufacturers refuse to put it as a standard feature. It really pisses me off. Next one, blind spot monitoring. Personally, I hate this thing. I don't like it. I think cameras would be much better. So when you're driving, you don't gotta be doing this all the freaking time, because when you're doing this, guess what? You can't see what's going on up front, and you're hoping that something is not pulling in front of you, that nothing is jumping out in front of you like a wild animal or a kid on a bicycle or just a pedestrian or somebody is opening a car door. You're driving, somebody opens the car door, you're doing this, bam. You got a car accident. So what the best solution would be is to have cameras on each side of the mirror, and they would give you a video on your screen inside the car. What the hell is going on? Honda had that for 1 year. They had it and then they removed it. They literally had the fucking option and then they removed it. Thank you, Honda. Thank you. Next one, rear CrossTraffic alert. So what that is when you're backing up, especially on a big truck or a huge SUV or a minivan, and if you live in an apartment where there's a lot of kids, or you're in grocery store parking lot or any other really parking lot, and you're backing up, you want to see that there's nobody behind you, and not just behind you, but also on the corners. You just want to have as much information about what's going on behind you when you're backing up. Why is this thing not standard? Tell me why. Next one, lane departure warning. So this one's actually pretty cool, especially for those people that are texting all the time or watching videos or whatever they're doing on their phone while driving. No, I don't want to hear comments about, well, you shouldn't be doing your texting and calling and doing your shit on the phone while driving. People will be on their phone while driving. You're not going to change that. That's just a fact. People will be on their phone while driving. Are we going to change millions of people? No. How do we fix this problem? Let's find a solution. Let's find a solution. What they have done is lane departure warning and then lane keep assist. So first it's going to give you a warning, you steer back into the lane, and if you don't steer back into the lane, it's going to steer back itself into the lane. Why is this safety feature not standard on every single car? Next one, parking assist systems. So when I say systems, there's really two different things. First, it's a 360-degree camera, which is much better than some stupid sensors on the back. Sensors, you can't see what's really going on. 360-degree camera around your car is much, much better. So it literally gives you a view of what's going on around the whole car. That's it. You literally have bird's eye view of front, back, sides, everything that's going on. You can literally look at the camera and back your car up like in video game. Why is this not standard feature on every single cars? It's so easy to implement. It's just cameras. Next one, backup cameras. Yes, they are standard in 2017. Yes, they are standard. But you know when backup cameras were first invented? I got some info right here. You're gonna love this. 1956, it was an option. In 1956, somebody thought, hey, why don't we put a camera on the back and it's gonna give us an image over here in the front? You know what car manufacturers did? Nobody needs that. We can make more money when people crash. Next one, 1972, Volvo experimental safety car. Because you know when you make a safety car, you don't want to make all your cars safe. You just make one for the show and then still sell your shit boxes. Next one, 1991, Toyota Soarer. Toyota Soarer had it in 1991. And in early 2000s, Infiniti was the first one to implement it in their cars on mass scale without it being some kind of experimental car or concept. It actually came to production on Infiniti in America. Why did it took over 50 years for backup camera to be in our cars? I'll tell you why, but let me go a couple of more points. Next one, remote start. Why is this not on every single car? It's a hot day, it's a cold day, you remote start your car and let it cool down or warm up 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute before you get into it. You're about to come out of the shopping center with all your shopping that you did or your work, you're gonna get into a cold car or a 120-degree car. Start it 5 minutes before, let it do its own thing. Next one, heated and cooled seats. They were available in 1956 or 1953 if I'm not mistaken. Why did it took 70 years for it to come to us? And even now, it's not a standard feature. It's still not a standard feature. It's an option. In 1950s, it was available. Next one, airbags. 1951, airbags were invented and were available. How come we did not have airbags standard until 1998 on cars and 1999 on trucks? Why? For 47 years, car manufacturers fought tooth and nail not to put airbags in cars. Chrysler and GM put millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars not to install airbags in cars. And here's the answer. The reason we don't have all these safety features in our cars is because they will prevent car accidents. And when there's less car accidents, guess what happens to car sales? There's less of them. Simple as that. That's why we don't have these features as standard. And the reason we have them as extras and you have to pay extra for them is because even though there's going to be less car accidents, but you're paying more for it, the car manufacturers are making money there still. So they're still making money on the front end instead of the back end, which would be considered a car accident. Simple as that. If you look into car safety, car manufacturers don't give a fuck about car safety at all. And that's why I recommend nobody buys brand new cars. Not only because financially it doesn't make sense to, it's a ripoff, but you're putting money into car manufacturers' pockets that purposefully, I cannot think of any other word, purposefully refuse to give us safety features that were available 50, 70, 30 years ago. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up below and click the subscribe button over my head, or watch one of those two videos if you want to see more money saving tips about cars. This is Dan with 60 Minute Car. I'm signing out and I'll see you on the internet.